I was looking through the Fight Laugh Feast Family Party Facebook channel, and I saw somebody, which, by the way, that is growing like crazy. Thank you, Reform Pub, for censoring Douglas Wilson and deleting anything ever mentioned of him, including all of us, I guess. It's been going bananas. It's great. I see a lot of your applications or like the requests to join the group, and it's great. Anyways, I saw somebody was asking, like, what are the first steps to get into plumbing without any experience and so forth. And I replied back, and I thought I'd share on the show to start, because if you are looking to become a plumber or electrician or some other of those kinds of trades, apprenticeship, you just Google like plumbing apprenticeship, electrical apprenticeship, and you can get plugged into these programs, and there's a different list of different ways you can do it. But you're going to have to go and just sit under somebody and learn and be their disciple, and look for somebody who's actually intelligent and has a lot of experience and knowledge and is invested in you as well. Because if you have the wrong mentor or apprentice or whatever you would call it, you know, that can hurt you before you even get started. So that is my tip for any of you who are looking to get into the blue collar world. I also had, just thinking about it, someone asked me about how did I learn how to code apps. Well, I've never learned how to code apps. I hire people offshore in Argentina, which are great. But if you want to learn how to code, you can go to like a code boot camp. Those are all the rage nowadays at schools. That might be a good university class to take. So you can check those out. Welcome to HTBT. My name is Matt Williams. Thank you for joining the show, sharing the show, tagging a friend, referring to show. Those are the ways that we grow, and that's the way that you can help support me and the rest of us on the network. The network is the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Go over to fightlaughfeast.com. Put in HTBT in the memo field like you see here. You'll get this 15-ounce mug, no matter what tier you pick, just for supporting us, subscribing to us. You'll get that from me. I send it out personally. And then on top of that, you get tons of other great benefits. There's tons of show content. I just did another show with the campus preacher, Keith Darrell, single ladies. So if you are looking for a good husband, go find him on Twitter, Campus Evangelical, I think it is. We have our book club. We're doing Man of the House this next month. You can join us for that if you're a member, or you buy the book through the link in the show notes. And there's like Toby has stuff, and there's just tons of great content exclusive for members. But most of all, you'll be coming alongside of us as we proclaim the Lordship of Jesus in every area of life. So go over there, put in HTBT in the memo field when you subscribe, and you'll get that mug, tons, and all that other good stuff as well. Today, I want to talk about a great opportunity for you guys who are looking to get into business, looking to do something quick, something that has low overhead. That's always a great first business, is when you can do something with low overhead. That is, that you're not opening up a store where you have rent, where you have to pay electrical bills, but it's all kind of just things that are variable cost, not fixed cost. And that helps you starting, learning, and there's not so much pressure on rushing and, having to make you a quick sell. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what OK Boomer is. I've been called that a numberous amount of times when I've been defending John MacArthur, which I'm not really defending John MacArthur. I'm defending the Bible, and he's using the Bible. And even if you disagree with John MacArthur on things, I disagree with John MacArthur on a lot of things. But the arguments are just, anyways, that's neither here nor there. I found out what that is, and we'll talk about that later as well. And then I want to dive into why we're doing this show. And it was great because it was a sermon from my pastor at church last Sunday. And it's just good to remember this. A listener of the show, Tory Matthews, she's a photographer, a wedding photographer. She travels, so look her up if you're looking for a photographer for your wedding or a friend's wedding or other events. Her pictures are fantastic, so check her out. She calls it's not the prosperity gospel, it's the poverty gospel, and how she was growing out of that God doesn't just want us to be impoverished, but that we can be successful as Christians, and we can strive for success. We can strive for excellence. And I just love that. I love that, the poverty gospel. We need to break free of that. And we were talking about that. So I want to get into that today. A few things. Looks like the China-U.S. trade deal, as of recording this, it's going well. Looks like they're having constructive conversations, which should be good. We should be looking for some good signs in the stock market, or continued success in that. I would be wary, though, if you remember last December, we had a fall off in the stock market. So that's just something to keep in mind. Not that it's going to happen again. We might have some good news. We might continue to see good reports coming out from these trade talks and from other companies and be able to have a good closeout of the year. We'll see. It's been pretty good for me as well. All right. So I want to just go and really go to the Bible on this, because one of the taglines, and I've been bouncing around if I want to keep it or not, is this show is how to be successful. And I came up with that, and I started wanting to do this show because Christians, for some reason, we just don't like, or we just aren't successful, and we're bad at business in a lot of ways. And we were reading through Luke 16. And it's funny because it's just like Jesus says that very thing. If you look, and it's talking about the Shrewd Servant, is where the guy was managing resources. He was about to get fired, and he starts writing down a bunch of people's debt so that he could get a favor from them when he gets fired, and so he can be taken care of, because he said he doesn't want to beg because he's too poor, or because he's too prideful for that. And so this is what Jesus says about that in verse 8. The master commended the dishonest manager for his shrewdness. So that was the guy. For the sons of this world are more shrewd in dealings with their own generation than the sons of light. The sons of this world are more shrewd in dealing with their own generation than the sons of light. And I tell you this in verse 9, make friends for yourself by means of unrighteous wealth, so that when it fails, they may receive you into the eternal dwelling. And we're going to get into what that exactly means and what this show is all about. But first, we have a live read to talk about, and it's Skillshare. If you're looking for ways to build on the success that you've already had, to build on the skills that you already have, this is a great resource for you. Thousands and thousands of online, on-demand courses for you to take whenever is convenient for you. Maybe you're looking to start a new hobby. Maybe you're looking to just build on the skills that you have for your business. Maybe you're looking for a side hustle. There are tons of great classes, and even storytelling. I've told you this before. In my master's courses at Pepperdine, we had a teacher who owned several newspapers, like regional newspapers, and now he's an executive coach. And one of the things he always talks about is the languages. That a manager speaks in the language of data, consultants speak in the language of answers, and leaders speak in the language of storytelling. And one of the classes that are on there is how to tell stories. If you're looking to be a better leader, to grow your influence, to inspire, to communicate vision, that is a great class for you to take. And they are offering you right now, when you go over to, let's see, where is this link? Skillshare.com/HTBT. When you join the millions of students that are already learning, you get 2 months free. You can click on the show notes below, or you can just type it in, Skillshare.com/HTBT. You get 2 whole months of unlimited access. You can see and watch as many of your shows as you want. Get started. Go to Skillshare.com/HTBT to sign up. Skillshare.com/HTBT. Help support our sponsor, Skillshare, as they are supporting the show and helping it come to you. So check them out, Skillshare.com/HTBT. All right, so he is saying here that the people of this world are more shrewd. Jesus is saying this with their own than the sons of light are. And basically what he's saying here is people of the world with unrighteous money, with the things of this world, they're better at business than we are as Christians. And he then goes on, and the whole point of the parable my pastor was talking about was that you need to take this unrighteousness and be shrewd, but for the kingdom of God. And why I love that, and I talk about it in the show, and I'm trying to encourage you as Christians to grow your wealth, to be more successful, to, reach for that next step in the ladder in your career, is because the more of this unrighteous wealth that we can acquire, the more we can do for the kingdom of God. And then in our church service, we're talking about being able to give money to people that are sending Bibles to Russia, and how, you don't know what the results are going to be. Oftentimes we give money to things we don't know about, but that one person might get the Bible and God might use it to turn that Russian into a preacher to preach the gospel to thousands of Russians, or it's to support orphanage in South America and provide a roof so that people can come and learn about the gospel. There's so many ways that we can use the unrighteous wealth, the unrighteous things, to further the kingdom of God. And he talks about how you can't serve God or money. Either you're going to be acquiring these things for the temporal, the unrighteousness like them, and be shrewd, where you're going to be storing up for yourself all this stuff on earth that's going to just pass away and it's going to be burned up and doesn't mean anything in the long run. Or we can be sons of the light that are obeying God, having him as master, but accruing this money, not as our master, but as the tool to be used by God and to develop our skills. So to use Skillshare, or to be educating ourselves, to take risks, to invest our money, to go back and get an education, or whatever God is calling you to do. What are the ways that you can be shrewd and use this life to acquire wealth, not as our God, not as our protection and all those things, but as an instrument to further the kingdom of God? And that is what we're doing here. That's why I want to talk about these economic things, these political things that have to do with taxes and how we create a competitive environment, what we can do in our finances, what we can do in our businesses, because this all matters, but not for the stuff. It matters so that we can use this stuff to further the kingdom of God. So I just really love that. I just wanted to share that with you guys. It's Luke 16. You can check that out. But I just thought it was funny too, because it's like Jesus saying what I was thinking all along. It's like, Christians are terrible at business, for the sons of the world are more shrewd in dealing with their own generation than the sons of light. I was like, oh, I read it, not thought about it that way or whatever, but I don't know. It was really good. But let me just encourage you with this too, is if you are starting to be in a place of influence, if you're starting to be in a place of wealth, is to be praying and looking for wisdom on how you can use that to make a lasting difference. And we was talking about this last part where we're going to be greeted by people in their eternal dwellings. And he was talking about how we don't know all the stories of what God is doing and how God is using us here. But we will in heaven learn those stories and be able to rejoice and tell it to God. I was on Twitter. Tom Askell was just tweeting about how he baptized two people of the same name, and not longer after is that one of the ladies who he baptized today, or the day of I read this, her husband got converted and then passed away. That other lady with the same name ended up marrying that widower. That lady passed away, and they ended up going to the mission field. And it was just praising God for the stories that God writes. And there's thousands and millions of those that we don't get to hear, and we will never know about how we helped do and how we were participating in the work of God until we get to heaven. And I want to have tons of those stories. I don't know about you, but thinking of it this way, let's be shrewd with the unrighteous wealth here so that we can have those stories in heaven where we could be part of what God's doing to share the gospel, to redeem people, to spread the good news, and to make an eternal impact. And that's why we want to be successful. All right, so now let me tell you what OK Boomers is. So apparently it's a meme that's been going around. I think it started in Reddit, it seems like. It's generally used in an annoying way, but I personally think it shows that boomers, which aren't necessarily an age group as much as an ideology, no wonder I was being called it defending John MacArthur, should join in the digital age so that it's not just young people trying to create change. So apparently, if you're not wanting some kind of change, you're a boomer, which is good to know. I like to know how I'm being insulted. I mean, being insulted doesn't really bother me. I have pretty thick skin, but it's nice to know how I am being insulted. But I bring this up because it's an article, which is nice that I wasn't even stumbling upon how to research this, but it's on Amazon and how they have made a business opportunity for us where we can have them print shirts for us. Here it says, Amazon made its first foray into the print on-demand t-shirt business launched called Merch in 2015, which I didn't know about. Sellers can upload an image for free. Then Amazon lists the item and handles all the back-end processes, including printing, packing, and shipping in exchange for a cut of each sale. So they're taking a percentage of what you sell. And the program became so popular that now it's invite only. So it's interesting to see that. If you know somebody in Amazon, that is looking or can invite you. That might be a way in. Anyways, regardless if you use Amazon or not, well, it seems like a big industry right now, which might be a low overhead opportunity for you to get into business or do a side hustle. It could be perfect for that, is printing shirts based on trending topics. People have been doing that and making money just quick on demand, like just doing a batch, maybe like 100 shirts and seeing if they sell, and then you can increase it for the next one, so on and so forth. If you're on the social media a lot, you're looking for a business, you can kind of get a sense of what's going to be trending. Like maybe go home if you're John MacArthur. Just be prepared for the e-gals to come after you on that one. You can take and use that shirt if you want, but maybe printing shirts based on trending topics can be a great opportunity, low overhead, and just start small and see how it works. I know a few of you have looked to start a clothing company, and it's great. A lot of people do it because it doesn't cost that much. There's low barriers to entry. But Amazon might be an opportunity for you to look at. And there might be other companies that have spun off of from that too. So you might want to check them out. All right, so let's go out and be successful, not for the unrighteous, but for the eternal purpose. And let's go and be used by God. We'll talk to you tomorrow.